Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your cup of coffee here this Saturday morning. I have a guest that really doesn't need any introduction. He's the man that goes out and finds all kinds of deals for us, lets us know. I know I've benefited from hitting him putting out the word on a buck knife that was only available, well, for not too long actually. So he gives us good deals, he gives us good knife reviews. That is none other than the Thrifty Kannify. John, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, it's always fun. We get to talk every now and then on RJ's lives and that, but it's kind of fun to do a little one-on-one here. So,
Yes.
you know what, John? One thing I always hear about when someone talks about your channel is the high quality of your videos. So, please, for us novices out here, tell us all of your secrets, please.
All the secrets to
All of
video
them.
editing. Um, it's really not as hard as it looks. I'll just put it that way. Really just comes down to familiarizing yourself with the non-linear editing program.
Hmm.
I did do some of this kind of thing in college, but it doesn't require any kind of a college commitment, and you don't
Right,
have to be very smart. There's plenty of people in working in TV now that are no more talented than I am.
right,
So
right.
really, it just comes down to familiarizing yourself with how the technology works, and it could be intimidating for, I guess, people that aren't familiar with that sort of thing. I know Jersey's mentioned many times he's not a technical guy. Oh, I
Yeah,
could never do that, or
yeah.
others have said things like that. But really, in the reality is, I could probably show you 90% of what I do in about a 2 hour span. It really is
Right,
that simple.
right.
So,
Well,
um,
I've tried to do some editing with my videos. I don't do a lot, but every now and then I can get some stuff edited in and clean some things up. But what what uh, what I never realized is you can do a 10-minute video, but you can spend an hour, well,
oh,
post
sure,
production if that's the right lingo,
sure.
or 2 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is time consuming. And of course, your familiarity has a lot to do with how long it takes.
Hmm.
And once you become familiar with how you can kind of make some shortcuts with certain things, like basically, I have a file that is got like 40 steps built into it that I don't have to repeat. Just because I open up that file, it's ready to go, and then I can throw whatever video into that part of it. You follow what I'm
Sure.
saying? So
Yeah.
it saves so much time when you can kind of replicate some of the things that you do over and over again and get rid of that,
Oh, that's pretty
long
neat.
process. Yeah, so it automates the process a little more, and
Yeah.
that's why you always see my videos kind of in a certain particular order and in
Hmm.
fashion in the same way, just because it makes things a little simpler for me and takes away the
Well,
amount of time required to do it.
and I think it's one thing I enjoy, and I think a lot of others enjoy is you are pretty methodical in how you do it. I mean, when I
Yeah,
click on your video, I pretty much know what I'm going to see, or
right.
in what manner I'm going to see it.
Yeah,
And there's something very nice about having that. What do I want to say? Not finding the right word, but you don't have to wonder, gee, I wonder what he's going to show or what is he going to talk about with this knife. I mean, you're
yeah,
very thorough, and I think people really appreciate that.
yeah. And I would just add on, one of the things that kind of shocks me about other content creators, and I'm not dogging them. They're perfectly, and they do perfectly fine regardless of how they decide to do their videos. But one thing that's always kind of surprised me is that there's times when they don't necessarily put the knife title of the knife or the knife description of the knife in the title.
Right.
So that's always boggled me, because if you ever consider your channel to be sort of an archive, which I do, I'd always want to be able to go back and find what it is that I
Yeah.
wanted to see. And I
I've
think maybe one small critique I'd have is that people should be doing that more often. Putting the name of the knife in the title of the video so that we can go back and find it, at a later
Right.
date.
Right.
But
And that's something I've tried to do when I first started my channel, because I know I heard Tobias talk about trying to, create this video archive of
yeah,
knives. So
right.
try to get, if I'm doing a Buck 301 review, get Buck 301 in the title and on the thumbnail somehow. So if somebody's wondering what's a Buck 301 and they do a search,
Yeah.
there's a chance that your video will come up. And I
Well,
think
that's one
that's
thing
even,
I noticed about your channel is the progression of the thumbnails. They've come a long way since the beginning, when you were
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it. So
I was
yeah,
using just that very basic Microsoft editing program
right.
at the beginning. And again, I'm not real technical either. And then I realized, I can start building these things in PowerPoint. And
Right.
so now I've got a pretty good template in PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best design thumbnail, but it's consistent. And I think when my video, if it shows up in someone's feed, they kind of recognize, oh, that's a Knife Delights video, just
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you've got
And
that standard format.
that's kind of, that was the idea of the way I created my thumbnail, always with the logo in the upper right corner. You always know, hey, that's a Thrifty video.
Right, right.
So people know what they're looking for, and they can quickly find what it is that they want. So that's kind
So
of the
yeah,
whole idea behind the
yeah,
editing stuff, that I wanted the people to be comfortable with what they were going to see and have some kind of concept of, if they wanted to skip forward, you know where to be in the video, all that sort of thing.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I've been watching some videos. We all try to improve our channels, and so I've watched some other, like how to YouTube, how to do things on YouTube, or why you
sure.
should do this, why you should do that, and that.
Right.
And back to your point, so if you want to do a video about my favorite knife, well, I don't label the video in the title of my favorite knife. It's my favorite knife, the Buck 301 Stockman, or
Sure. Right.
the 301 Stockman, why it's my favorite knife type
Yeah.
thing. So,
Right.
and it's even more important now because they've tied in with Google. So if you're just doing a normal
Yes.
search on the net over something, your video may pop up in that. And I found that out because RJ did a search for a Panama Trapper, and my review of the Panama Trapper came up.
Right.
So yeah, not on YouTube, but just on the regular web.
Yes.
And I agree. That's pretty important.
Yeah, I
So
think that's something that people overlook, is that, if you're searching for something, you're not necessarily on YouTube searching for it. You might be on Google, and if the Google pops up, they don't care where the link leads you, as long as it's
right,
giving you the information they want, right? So
right. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. So then I tried it, and to see my video pop
right.
up, that was kind of neat. So
I was
it
searching
is
something the other day, just happenstance, and I wasn't looking for anything that I had created, and it was like one of the top 3 listings. I was like, wow, okay, great.
that's
So I
cool.
know it happens, so
Isn't it amazing what a reach we really have, no matter how big or small
yeah,
your channel is, that
right.
the worldwide reach and the ability to talk to people around the world about our love of knives, our passion for knives. It's just great, I think.
It is really, I really don't even think I reflect on it enough, because it's just so big. It's so much bigger than you can really wrap your head around.
I know, I know.
So
I mean, I did. You were on there. I did that test live the other day here a couple weeks ago. If I was just fooling around trying to learn how to use StreamYard, and I hit, let's go do it, and all of a sudden the room started filling up full of
right.
people. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it just shocked me. So no
Well, I'm on
announcement.
YouTube a lot uploading, so
Yeah, yeah,
I tend to catch things when they pop up pretty quick sometimes. But
sure. And you've been putting up a lot of videos here of late too, haven't you? You've been working hard.
uh, just as many as I put up, I still feel like I haven't done as many as I would like. I
I
don't
know
think I'm
exactly
ever
what you
caught
mean.
up, you know?
Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
was one, well, things kind of beyond your control. I was working on this hammerhead, this case hammerhead, and it was being stubborn, like to polish it up. I wasn't getting as clean as I wanted. Ended up spending like 3 hours cleaning the knife. So then I'm tired. I don't want to finish the video, so then it gets put off. Stuff like that happens, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm going to put myself up here on the big screen real quick, and
okay,
I'll just show you my project because you talk about it taking longer.
yeah,
I just got this knife the other day in an antique store. It's an Italian military knife. So it's got the really small, short ram's foot there,
yeah,
a rope blade basically, and
yeah.
then the secondary blade is a big can opener.
Oh wow, I've never seen one that big.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's for like opening ammo tins or and
Maybe.
it used to be everything in the military came in big tins, like coffee
Right.
grounds came in a big 5-gallon tin and stuff. But it was in pretty good shape. But I wanted to do a restoration video on it. So I soaked it in the mineral oil the way I normally do. And then I cleaned the blades off. And it really didn't need a whole lot. But then I decided I'm going to try to sharpen it up so I can cut a piece of rope. Well, I'm starting to get an edge on there, just barely. And I was using this work sharp field sharpener that
Okay.
RJ had sent me.
Right.
This is being very stubborn to sharpen.
Hmm.
So my video on this is going to be delayed until I can spend some time with this. And I'm bound and determined to use the field sharpener because this is a knife to be used out in the field, and you're going to have something simple like this if you ever needed to sharpen it. So
Right.
those are the kinds of things you run into. The knives don't always cooperate with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the hammerhead I'm talking
All
about here.
right, let me bring you up here.
Now
Okay.
you'll have the opportunity to see some before photos, and the scales had all these like white marks on it,
Right.
and I must have spent 3 hours buffing those handles. I mean,
Wow.
it took 3 long hours of just working these are synthetic, and I don't know what it was that was on there. It was just dried. This has been a hard use knife. Whoever had it before me,
Right.
and it just took a long time to get it polished up. It resisted very much the
Well,
the buffing.
that's a terrific knife there, though.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's case hammerhead from 1989. So
Wow. Could we see the blade real quick?
sure. Now I mentioned that on the live, but the tip is missing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's got like about a 1/32 inch of tip missing off the end there,
Okay.
and I need to kind of roll the edge up to the tip some more. So I'm not quite done with it. Needs a
Okay.
little more work before I'm ready to do the video. But
Now I know you have some Buck 110s also. Does it feel the same in the hand?
it's got that weight, but I still prefer the 110 over this.
Okay.
Obviously it probably wasn't this way when it was new, but it's got some side to side blade play,
Sure.
and the locking mechanism doesn't seem to swivel as easily. I'm having to press that lock back a lot harder than a normal buck.
Okay.
And that's like a pet peeve for me. I hate knives like that where you have to really
Yeah.
ram that
Yeah.
down, ends up putting a big dent in your thumb, and
It does. It
it's
does.
very annoying. So
Yeah.
yeah, for a work knife where you're going to be pulling that out of your pocket all the time and having to use that lock, it makes me not want to use the knife whenever it's like this after a long
That's right.
pull.
I'm the same way. I am the
Yeah.
same, exactly the same way. Yep.
But I
Oh,
was watching Stuart on RJ the other night, and he was saying, "Oh, well, if you use your thumb in a certain way where it's on the knuckle and you press it, it doesn't hurt nearly as bad or whatever." And he's right, but it is awkward to do that.
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So, since you brought up case knives, I know that you kind of started out and made your money, if you will, um, showcasing like Rough Rider knives and some other budget lines, and that's how you came up with your name, Thrifty Kannify, and trying to help people save some money on knives.
Right.
But you also kind of progressed just a little bit with your channel and showing like the next tier up of knives. Is that uh,
Yeah, I'd say
fair to
that's
say?
fair to say. Yeah, that's fair to say.
Because you've bought some case knives and things like that now, and
Yeah, I think any collection where you progress like that, the Rough Riders was always kind of the if I can borrow from the drug community, the gateway drug to knives.
mm-hmm.
It's your marijuana of knives before you get to the hardcore stuff.
Right, right.
But um, and I still feel the same about Rough Riders because they're such great budget knives. They make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't think of another company that can do what they do for the price and provide the variety that they do and the quality that they do. Are you going to run into some knives that aren't, the greatest? They're going to have some gaps. Yeah, it happens. But, I'd say it's a very low percentage of the overall number of Rough Riders that I've got that I've been unhappy with.
Yeah.
And so for that, that's always going to be a mainstay on the channel. It's always going to be something that I show a lot of. And
Right.
there's no question it's going to be the number one brand on the channel just because of what
Sure.
they do and what they make and what their cost is.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. The next tier up, you get into that slightly above $50 range, and I think Case has a nice level of knife there that you can kind of get into, and their handle material is what draws me to their knives.
Yeah, they do
I
a wonderful job with their bone.
They do. And they also have quite a number of patterns. So much like Rough Rider, you have a lot of selection there, and so it just makes for a fun knife to collect, a fun brand to collect. And I've got
And
a couple examples I was going to show you guys.
oh yeah, let me pull it up here. Okay,
So we have the mini copper lock on this guy.
sure.
Or I'm sorry, the mini copperhead.
Copperhead, yeah.
And my camera's not focusing. I don't know why, but if you can see there, that's the amber
Yep,
peach
very
jig.
nice.
Yep. I almost have to hold it back here so you can see it, but if I get close, it's just not wanting to focus.
Well, it's looking pretty good.
All right. But yeah, it's one of my favorite handle material pattern, handle
Yeah,
material. And
yeah.
yeah, it's just a lovely knife.
Well,
Really happy
not
with it.
only do they make a lot of different patterns, the variety of cover material they have for each pattern is what really gets me with Case.
Yeah, their range of pattern. I mean, not only do they have a lot of different ones, but they seem to do a good job of bringing out new ones, and then they'll drop old ones, and they're
Right.
always rotating new handle materials in, so it
Well, that's nice.
never gets old. There's a regular copperhead,
Right.
and this one's in the 6.5 bone stag. Yeah, let me see if I can get these blades opened up for you guys. There you go.
Nice.
Big fan of the copperhead as a general pattern anyway, and then Case makes a
So
really great one.
so for those that aren't familiar with the Copperhead, what's the advantage of the Copperhead?
Well, the copperhead, much like a canoe, has this bolster at the end here that will
Mm-hmm.
help hide the tang in the closed position. So
Yep.
it's nice and smooth into the pocket,
Yep.
and much like the
That,
canoe, or what the canoe's designed to be,
yeah. Doesn't
you
tear
have
your
that.
pocket up.
That's right. So you have that
Yeah.
nice bolster there to make the transition to your pocket pretty smooth.
Kind of looks like a halfway between a canoe and a trapper almost.
Right. Kind of half
Yep.
and half. Yeah. And also have I don't have a lot of fixed blades, but I got a Case fixed blade. Comes with this wonderful little sheath, little wraparound style close to it.
Right. Yeah.
And I know Tom is a big fan of stacked leather handles.
Oh, I love stack leather, and that's a gorgeous knife. I've been wanting to order one of those. I especially like the small, like bird and trout knife.
Yep.
I just love the small fixed blades.
And this is definitely one of those bird and trout style
Yeah.
knife. And they make a larger version of this too,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the smaller one. And actually found this locally. I think they're more expensive online than they were the store I bought it from. There, I think I
Mm-hmm.
got this for like $56, something like that.
That happens now and then, and also you're not having to worry about shipping and handling. And
That's right.
the worst part of it for me is waiting for it to get here. I'm about to, I can't pull my hair out because I ain't got much left. I'm about to pull my beard out. We'll say that because I'm still waiting on a couple of the knives that I pre-ordered like 6 weeks ago. So from Case,
Yeah.
but that's the vault pattern, the four-bladed Congress, and then
Right.
I got a two-bladed one also, but on order. So it keeps saying that I ordered them through Shepherd Hills, and I called them here last week, and they said, well, all we know is Case is saying they'll arrive in March. Well, it's almost the end of March.
Yeah,
So.
the waiting game gets a little old, but if you order my take on that is if you order enough of them, you always got some coming in.
Well, that's true.
So the waiting doesn't have to be too terribly bad.
I had to order some odds and ends stuff off of Chicago Knife Works, and I was looking for a full-size toothpick for that nice slip that J.O. made. So I ordered a Marbles full-size with the ram's horn cover. So I'm looking forward to getting that.
Absolutely. I love when stuff arrives in the mail. It's just like being, and if you can do it frequently enough, it's like Christmas every day. Yeah.
Absolutely. Took the words right out of my mouth, literally. Yep.
Well, another knife, Tom, I wanted to show. This is the exclusive I was mentioning. It's the Swiss Champ. I've yet to review this. I've had it for, I don't know, probably 4 months. I just have not got it around to reviewing it because I know the review is going to be a pretty difficult one. So I've kind of been putting it off because to show all the different blades is going to be kind of a pain in the butt.
That might be like a 3-part review, won't it? Part 1, part 2, and part 3.
That's
Man.
Right. This is the Victorinox Swiss Champ.
And do you remember off the top of your head how many tools it has?
Oh, I want to say in the 30s. I can't remember the exact number. I'd have to look it up. But
yeah, somewhere. Yeah, it's insane.
That's a pretty awesome knife.
It is.
I don't know how many layers is that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers. And then you've got the scales, the advanced scales, so you have all the tools on that, and the pin that's in there. The writing pin and also the stick pin.
So is that where they just sat down and said, "Can we make a knife with all of our tools in one knife"? Is that what you think they just tried to do?
That's pretty much what this is. They do make a bigger one, and I know that Wenger made one that was like, I don't know, almost a foot long or something ridiculous. But yeah, for something that you can actually use, this is probably about as big as they get. But
yeah, at some point it gets to the point where it's not practical.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is becoming impractical at this point. But again, I'm a big fan of fun knives that you can use.
Yeah.
Much like the Trapper that Big J sent me. I did a review on that recently. I know you probably saw that.
Yep.
All right, got another exclusive for you, Tom. Never shown this on the channel.
2 exclusives.
Yes, I don't think people even realize, but I do have a GEC. This is my only GEC. This is the number 15 pattern.
Wow.
And it's the small Barlow. It only measures about 3 inches closed. But There you go. This is
And that's
the
got the, what is it, TC on the bolsters?
yeah, the
Is that
Tudette
for
cutlery.
somebody's, is that Tom's choice or somebody's choice?
Sure, Tom's Choice, straight out of Pennsylvania or wherever is they make these. Yeah, I think it's Pennsylvania. Titusville, Pennsylvania. But yeah, here's
Niceville.
here's the tube for it. Number
Cool.
14 pattern.
Cool. Yeah.
And what is this? This is the goldenrod saw cut bone. So if we can take a
That
look
is
at that again.
fabulous. Yep.
One of my favorite style knives is a single blade Barlow
Mm-hmm.
bone handle.
Yep.
But you don't have to spend $100 like if you could get you a saber,
Sure.
you know? And it's
Yep.
a nice one.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
absolutely fan of getting bargains on eBay too. I have nothing against not spending money.
Yeah.
The thing with eBay
Well,
is just trying to get something that you would actually, you get what you actually think you're getting. That's the problem.
exactly. Yeah. I've had fairly decent luck on eBay. I don't buy a lot off of there, but I can't say there's any times when I, like got absolutely ripped off or it wasn't what was advertised.
Yeah.
So, but we're both kind of fans of saving money, and I keep telling people to hit their antique stores and pawn shops and stuff. So, since you showed a Victorinox, this is a Field Master that I got just the other day, and we'll probably be doing a review on it. I'm not a Victorinox collector, but all of a sudden it seems like I'm ending up with a bunch of them. So, but it looks brand new.
Well, that's what I told myself too,
You know?
Tom. I wasn't a Victorinox company. Now I've got over a dozen. So
Yeah, yeah.
they just kind of show up on your doorstep sometimes.
But I saw this and the tag was, I think it was $17 or $18, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so I looked it up on the web, and well, it was a Victorinox website, so they're getting full MSRP.
Sure.
But I think it was like 45 or something like that. So, but I mean, it's for all intents and purposes to me, it's brand new. It doesn't look like it's been used.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you
It's
you
tempting when
go
you
to
can get
the,
a bargain. You just go ahead and
yeah,
you just do it.
absolutely.
One other
Well, I
brand
tell
that I
you what,
collect a
we
ton of, if you want to
what's
see
that?
those, one other brand that I collect a ton of, it's probably the brand I have the second most of next to Rough Rider is these old timers.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I
Oh,
know
let
they're
me
not I
let me
know
get
they're
you
not
pulled up.
everybody's taste, but I have a soft spot for them because it's kind of what my father-in-law carried a lot of times,
Sure,
and he had a few buck knives, but he had a lot of old timers too.
yeah.
And
The,
this one's just a little 3OT,
sure,
very much like the Bruin, just a little slightly smaller, a little
yeah.
lockback, but just a
Those were very
perfect
popular
example.
knives at one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really were. Yep, very nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of my sentimental choice, I suppose, just for a
Sure,
brand.
yeah, yeah. So, well, John, the half hour has gone fast,
Yes.
as it always does. We got 3 or 4 minutes here left. We don't have to stop at a half hour, but it just seems to be a good bite size for our Saturday morning chats. But
Right.
do you have any closing thoughts or anything you'd like to talk to the viewers?
I'd just
Say to
like to
the
say
viewers?
that both you and RJ and all the rest of the community that's been doing the lives and kind of bringing the faces of the out of the woodwork,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
bringing people on so that we can really have a face-to-face experience with people. I think it's changed the community in innumerable ways. And I feel like now, a lot of people talk about how the community is tight knit and that everybody's doing all these wonderful things, but you can actually see it when
Yeah.
you
You
are in the
sure
live the chats, and you can see the people communicating with one another, and that's how it's that's, you can recognize that you are having an effect on people. And it's one thing to have comments, but when you have a whole slew of people over here on the right side of your video commenting with one another, and they're all getting along and joking and laughing,
and they're commenting so fast you can't even keep up
yeah,
with
I
them
know, right?
sometimes.
And they're
And
having
that's
their
just
own
fantastic,
conversation.
you
It's
know.
just, to me, that's the most fantastic thing, is just
And
knowing that people are really involved and digging
yeah,
what you're showing.
and sometimes there's 3 or 4 different topics going on in the comments as people are talking back and forth. There's like, yeah, several different stories being made in that, separate from what the show's doing, So,
Right.
and I really like it when they ask questions, and I really, really like it when someone on the panel is able to answer it, or yeah, I've got that knife, or
Sure.
that
Yeah.
that interaction is great. And of course, I have to point out to everybody, John here, he's done a lot of interviews. Check his channel out. Make sure you. I'm pretty positive just about anyone that's subscribed to me is already subscribed to you, John. But if not, please check out Thrifty Kannify. Subscribe to him. Great content. He was kind of groundbreaking on some of these channel interviews, like I'm doing right now. He's been wonderful for the knife community. Always willing to help out other channels. He helped me out a lot. And so, John, I want to say thank you for everything that you do for the knife community.
Well, thank you, Tom. I really appreciate you having me on. And like I said, with just the level of involvement that you have from the viewers, it's mind blowing. I know when I started my channel, I never would have thought that it would ever amount to a hill of beans, much less having thousands of subscribers and viewers who are, not only watching your channel, but watching it religiously and coming to the lives and participating in the lives. So it's just a
Well,
lot of fun. I've had a lot
my,
of fun.
my expectations was I'd have 3 subscribers. Myself, I would twist Mrs. Knife Delights to subscribe, and I'd
Yeah.
make an account for my dog and get him to subscribe. And anything after that is all gravy, is how I felt. But I know what you mean. You get going, and it's like people are actually listening to me.
Right.
Yeah, it is really mind blowing, and but it's very heartfelt when they leave the comments, and the interaction is great. So.
Yep.
Anyway, John, until next time, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day and sitting and chatting with us.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay. You have a good day.
Take care.